Hello and welcome to Some of My Friends Read Comics. We got bands.
Is there no love for landlords or lawyers in this cold and modern world?
We got Chris.
The stages of Gotham are better off for your provocative, textual, dramatic scenarios.
Some good quotes here. I'm Kia. Hi, welcome to the show. We're reading some fun stuff today. So we got the Eisner. Have y'all heard of the Eisners? It's like the Oscars, but for comics. We're reading the winner of the best limited series, Eisner's 2021. That's this year. Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen. What? This guy has another series, and it won an Eisner? Yeah. By Matt Fraction, art by Steve Lieber. A 12-issue maxi-series. So we're reading the first 6 issues. You know what? We're going to decide our next episode. Are we going to read the rest of it or not? We'll figure this out by the end of the episode. We're also continuing our read of The Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck. We're on chapter 3 there. And that's been fun. We got cowboys this time. Stick around to the end of the episode if you like cowboys. But yeah, Jimmy Olsen. I never ever read any of those old Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen books. I've seen the covers on like the Super Dickory stuff, but that's it.
Yeah.
Have you all ever read anything?
No, I've never read any of the Jimmy Olsen. Like, there's like Lois Lane books. Like everybody in his like supporting cast, it feels like got like spin-off books in probably the 50s and 60s era.
Yeah, the Silver Age.
And never read. One of them.
How many issues are there? How many adventures does Jimmy Olsen have?
Well, he actually, I mean, the backdoor pilot to the New Gods was in an issue of Jimmy Olsen, so that issue is worth a lot of money.
That's right. Was that Jack Kirby when Kirby went over to DC?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like 1970, like Jimmy Olsen, like number 100 something, his New Gods backdoor pilot. I'm looking at it right now. You guys can't see my screen here, but I've got Lois Lane issue 84, where Lois Lane says, "Superman, identify me. Tell me I'm Lois Lane, your friend." And Superman says, "Officer, I give you my word of honor. This girl is a dangerous criminal and must be in prison for life."
Oh my God, Superman, you dick.
So,
but yeah, I guess that makes sense where like you have an old comic, not an old comic, you have like a less popular comic. I'm guessing Jimmy Olsen wasn't like blowing away sales or anything like that. But it's probably also unimportant enough that you can just do whatever you want with it and like experiment with stuff, which I guess I can appreciate that.
I mean, Jimmy Olsen, the series in the Silver Age was like famously, like, they talked about, I forget who it was somebody from DC, talked about how they thought that their readership would recycle on like a 4 or 5 year cycle, or it's just like, look, we're only pitching this to like 9-year-olds. So like by the time you're like 14 or 15, you're not reading Jimmy Olsen anymore. So like they have multiple stories where like Jimmy becomes a genie, or like Jimmy gets Superman's powers, or like it happens over and over again because they're like, well, you're not really supposed to read every issue. Like it's not, I mean, it's just silly.
Yeah. And we get like, I think, allusions to a lot of that stuff in this series. But this is a modern series, of course. You can't win the Eisners if you're an old thing. Wouldn't that be weird if the Eisners are just like, nothing good this year, we're giving it to a back issue of Jimmy Olsen?
We're giving it to, the Tales of Mystery from 1955 or whatever. They're like, wait, what?
I mean, they didn't apparently give the award, though, in 2013 for Best Limited Series. I don't know why. According to Wikipedia, I don't know what happened in 2013. But like,
tough year for Marvel, I guess. All the I don't even know what event they would have been doing. Fear Itself, maybe.
I mean, we've been really dissing Fear Itself, written by Matt Fraction, who wrote this. No, I mean,
we might have to read this thing one day.
Maybe that's our April Fool's Day. Oh, that'd be a good one. I'll put that one down. But I mean, this isn't good company. I mean, this is with like The Vision by Tom King, Fade Out by Ed Brubaker, which is my favorite comic of the last decade. Another criminal book, Last of the Innocent, which is really good. Day Tripper, That Wizard of Oz by Scotty Young, some Seven Soldiers, New Frontier. Like it's an award that's got really good comics. We should probably just mine this for more things.
When we're not sure what to read.
It's definitely hard for me to think of what's my favorite series of like 2011 to 2021. 2001 to 2011 is easier.
Yeah. The Fade Out's really good. I'll always go to that one as my favorite comic of the last decade. Yeah. But including but another winner was Whiteout Melt, in 2000 by Greg Rucka and the artist of this book, Steve Lieber. So
Dun dun dun.
Steve Lieber's won this
Light
twice,
out.
20 years apart.
Wow.
Did Steve Lieber work on Gotham Central? Because some of this art looked Gotham Central-y, but I couldn't tell.
Gotham Centrally, and it looks like the coloring doesn't and the line work doesn't. It feels like a Mike Allred book to me also. But that's just kind of like the energy of the book. Like I could see him drawing this. But let's get into Jimmy Olsen, I guess.
It's gonna be tough to describe because they do jump in and out of like time a lot. In and out of time is the wrong word to use.
I couldn't follow it. I couldn't follow it. Like sometimes he's in jail, sometimes people are dead, sometimes he's not. I have no idea when
it's not that hard.
It was not that difficult, but it does. I will say it took until issue 3 for it to give me like okay, now I've got a sense of what all's happening here. And I think that was one of my big problems with it. But overall, we'll get to it. It is a fun book.
Yeah. I mean, what would Stacey Connolly think of you now, Vince? You can't even follow a story with multiple plots.
I'm old. Stacey was our professor who taught play structure and analysis to us. I was watching a Dracula Netflix series today, and I was in a play directed by Stacey, and I texted Chris, who played Dracula in the play that I was in? Because I couldn't honestly remember. I'm watching this Dracula thing. I'm surprised by plot points, despite me being in a play.
Yeah.
My memory is gone. Poor Stacey.
I played Dracula.
You were not in the play.
I played Dracula in a different play.
Oh, the Dracula Spectacular, where they were roller skating things. Right?
Yeah, the roller skating things.
Roller skating banshees or something?
You played Dracula?
Banshees. I was Dracula. No, wait, no. I was the good guy. I was the good guy who was going to kill. I was
Jonathan Harker?
No. His name was Nicholas Necrophilia. It's a weird name. Or Necrophobia, maybe.
I don't think that's
one of the two.
Bram Stoker's book.
I don't think that's a character in Bram Stoker's Dracula.
It was not Bram Stoker's Dracula. It was the Dracula Spectacular, a.k.a. Thanks for the Memories.
Right.
Let's get into Jimmy Olsen here. So we start way back in the past with Joachim Olsen and Luthor Alexander. I didn't like how the Lex Luthor old-timey guy, his last name wasn't Luthor. His first name was Luthor, and his last name was Alexander. Doesn't make any sense to me. But anyways, we got an old-timey Olsen and an old-timey Luthor, right? And this Luthor is a jerk. He pushes the old-timey Olsen like off a cliff so he can take his land. Oh my god. What an asshole. So we jump to the present day, and Jimmy is like in outer space with some Star Labs folks. It's Star Labs, I think, maybe. Yeah. And he's supposed to get injected with some stuff, and it doesn't go right. And he turns into a turtle, and he's falling, and Superman saves him. And they break a statue on their way down, and it's kind of a mess. This statue thing was weird. Well, we'll talk about why this was important for a few reasons. But the first is that now at the Daily it's not the Daily Planet, is it? Yeah, the Daily Planet.
Yes.
I almost said Bugle. Wrong one. Daily Planet. Who's the boss of this one? Perry White.
Perry White loves Elvis.
He loves Elvis. Yeah. I liked him in Lois and Clark a lot. Was that the dad from the Wonder Years there, or is that a different guy?
No, different guy. He was the evil coach from Mighty Ducks, and also the DA in My Cousin Vinny, I want to say.
Okay. Well, good job, Perry White. You're memorable, I guess.
Yeah. He's a bad guy in My Cousin Vinny.
But he's like, Jimmy, we don't want to pay your insurance anymore because you're always getting yourself into shenanigans and stuff. And I gotta say, right off the bat here, I'm like, but it's not even Jimmy's fault. Like, what? None of this is his fault. Why is everybody so mad at Jimmy? But the whole thing went viral anyways, and now he's the only part of the Bugle that's making any money. And now Perry's like, hey, we love you.
And the planet too.
Planet.
Oh, the planet. Whatever, same thing. There's a fun little scene of who is it? It's like the editor, the publisher, whoever she is. She's like, hey, can you get this guy under control? To Clark Kent. Clark's like, I think only Superman can do that. Wink. And he like holds the wink for a little while. And she's like, what the fucking country kid?
Yeah. There's definitely like a aspect of the Harley Quinn cartoon where you're like, what is going on here? Like, Clark Kent is a crazy person in this version.
Yeah, there's a lot of, it's a very silly comic. It doesn't get to all the silly very quickly, but that was it right there. So then The publisher is like,
I
look,
also like Perry White calling Jimmy an ambulatory boondoggle. That was good.
there's lots of fun words throughout all this. But so the publisher says, okay, look, Perry, you don't have to fire Jimmy, but get him away from here so he's not busting shit up and costing us money. And so he gets transferred. We don't find out where he is, but he's in a motel, and it's terrible. And there's all these rules, and there's bats, and it's like, don't get murdered, don't get moited. And then he was like, oh my God, why is this place such a shithole? It's fucking Gotham. Oh my God, he's in Gotham. And there's a newspaper article that he's got, and that's why he's here, because it says, who killed Jimmy Olsen? Dun, dun, dun. And it's the cliffhanger for the first issue. And it's kind of a weird cliffhanger, because I know that Jimmy's not dead because he's reading the thing, and it happened in the past, apparently.
The way, because it's framed weirdly, because you're like, oh, well, he's living in this terrible hotel because the Daily Planet moved him there. And it's like, no, but the cliffhanger's like, he's here in hiding because they think he's been murdered.
Faked his death. Yeah.
We missed a lot. Like, we haven't seen a lot of that stuff yet, so we'll get to all that. Don't worry. Listener and Vince, we're all confused right now. It's okay.
Okay. I feel it's unnecessary, but that's okay.
I agree. It's very. It could have been told. I feel like it could have. I feel like it could have started with a lot of stuff that came in issue number 3. We'll get there, okay?
I mean, I like the way this story is told, because it's told in, we haven't really gone over it, but the first issue and every issue is told in kind of like 3-page vignettes. Every scene is like in and out, so fast.
And they are fast. What I do appreciate is how much it keeps building with like Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen, and Superman's problem, Jimmy Olsen, and on the run, Jimmy Olsen, or like Superman's long
BF. Yeah. Jimmy Olsen's pal, Superman, I think is the later one.
There's so many of them throughout for every character. It's like, blah blah blah, Lex Luthor, and it's fun.
It makes it feel almost like a Sunday comic also. Is what it feels like to me. Like, it feels like these big, like, nice color spreads for it. I mean, they're 3 pages. Or Wednesday comics, which I've talked about, like, probably not in a long time, but that DC comic from about 10, 15 years ago where it just had, like, the giant one-page strips. That's what this feels like to me. This would be really good as a Wednesday comic, by the way.
It would.
A giant one-page, yeah. So let's go on to... Go ahead.
Yeah, we find out there's certain, and to use play structures, we're in the past, we're in the distant past, we're in the present, we're in the future. Like, there's a bunch of different sort of starting points of this storyline that are all sort of running from the issue 1 here, that I think are all set up but aren't really explained. This would be a tough book to read month to month.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it'd be easier just because I'd be poring over it better, and I'd be like, okay, looking at, I don't know.
I mean, I guess that's true, but the other part, like I said, the hard part would be there's so many storylines, like the Joachim Olsen stuff. You'd be like, what is this?
Right. I mean, it still doesn't seem to add up, but I mean, at the same time, maybe like if I was like deep into monthly comics still, and on the internet talking about monthly comics. It might be a really fun read to be like, what the hell is happening here? When did this happen? I think this happened later. Like that kind of supposing would have been fun.
Maybe it'll all tie back. I don't know.
But so beginning of issue, together. We'll see.
It's a weird first issue though.
It's a very weird first issue. Issue number 2 is also pretty weird, I thought. We get the beginning. I was calling him Joaquin. Or was I reading it? Was it Joaquin?
No,
Olsen. Why is Olsen spelled?
Joachim.
Why is Olsen spelled different? Whatever. But anyways, he's not dead. He got pushed off a cliff, and actually, he found a nugget of gold down there. Booyah, Luthor. And he is now rich, I guess. Meanwhile, in the present day, Jimmy Olsen is having a fight with his brother about blasting into that monument because the monument was like an old family thing of the Olsens. And Luthor wanted to tear it down, and the Olsens were fighting to keep it, even though they didn't like it. And Jimmy's stunt accidentally got it destroyed, even though it really wasn't his fault. And now the brother's like super pissed about this. I had no idea what any of this was really about. It made no sense to me.
The brother was in the first issue too, but only for 1 page where he talked to Lex Luthor.
Yeah, there's some.
It's two old money families mad about something. And even though Jimmy accidentally destroyed it because he was turned into a turtle and pushed off of an airplane or a helicopter, like the fact that he does these stupid prank shows was gonna inevitably lead to something like this.
It was pretty cool when he turned into that turtle, though. We didn't talk about it enough. It was neat.
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to do it the way he did it, but it does seem like somebody set him up, which we get into later.
We'll find out. Yeah. So meanwhile, right now, Jimmy, he's in charge of the silly segments. He's doing an interview with Superman. And Superman's like revealing his secret silly superpowers, like how he can convince people to buy him hot dogs, or he does some card tricks. Nice little Penn and Teller.
Some close-up magic
with the three of clubs. That's their card, and that was like his first one. Why do I know so much about Penn and Teller?
I do love that he's like, I look amazing in wigs, and if I also have a power, if I wear glasses, no one recognizes me.
Yeah. I like that he's like holding in a hot dog like later, because he's like, I can get a hot dog whenever I want.
Oh yeah, later he's like, oh my god, I'm sick of hot dogs. But then at the end of this, there is a moment where like Superman's got to go, and he's like, hey Jimmy, come with me. And he's like, nah, that's a serious thing. You go. I'm just here for the silly stuff. Womp womp.
And then they do a great 6 panels of Jimmy Olsen silly stuff. It's all really great.
They're all like just little one shots of like stuff he's been involved in, and they are really, really fun. I
absolutely want to read the story where he turned. They're all silent panels, but I'm assuming there was a story where Jimmy Olsen was turned into a thoroughbred horse, and raced a different, maybe Superman the horse.
I was gonna say it looks like Supergirl's horse, which I'm sure is a real Silver Age story, because the storyline from the Silver Age is that Supergirl's horse was always in love with her.
So, but the horse has got it's a horse, but the mane has got Jimmy Olsen's hair and then a little bow tie like Jimmy Olsen. It's very cute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do like the end of segment interstitial thing is always Jimmy Olsen's bow ties. Those are fun.
There's a little I like that. Like end of this scene, it's a bow tie. At the end of this issue, we get Lois Lane gets a phone call. She's the cliffhanger. Lois Lane is on the case, and she runs out, and Superman's like, "Where are you going?" Another weird cliffhanger. But issue number 3. All right, we're going to get to it. This is where we learn a lot of what's going on, except actually they give it all away on the cover, which pissed me off. I'm like, okay, so that's what's going on.
Who shot the decoy corpse of Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen?
I'm like, okay, so that's the mystery. Somebody shot the decoy corpse of Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen.
I mean, it's not that big a mystery.
It's not, but I'm like, okay, it really, this cover helps tie a lot of things together.
I'm trying to think. I'm assuming they still do solicitations where it's like 3 months in advance. So if you were about to buy Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen 1 as a comic shop owner, and you saw this is 3 months in advance, and you see 3 issues from now, who shot the decoy corpse of Jimmy Olsen, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen? You're like, that sounds really clever.
All right, it's been a long time. It's been a long time since I paid attention to the Diamond solicitations, but they will leave off spoiler covers and not include them, or like the publisher won't send them in, or something.
But that's a joke spoiler cover. I feel like that was definitely one that would make me, as a comic shop owner, or me looking at this and like, this Jimmy Olsen book might be good.
Yeah. So we start back in the old timey days with Joaquin Olsen and
Luthor,
the other Luthor guy, whatever. And they tar and feather him. And
that
send
always
him away.
seems like it really hurt, right? Wouldn't it like leave me with burns to put like hot tar all over me and then feather me?
Hot tar?
It's hot, right? I think that's how it was like in Back to the Future 3.
Yeah, you would think it's not good, but I guess it's better than just being killed.
Maybe
I would prefer maybe they lit.
You got your back waxed that one time. Was it that hot?
It was different because it was in small patches, and so even if it was hot for a moment, it cools down very quickly.
Okay.
So I wonder if that's how they do it, so they don't kill the person. They like very slowly ladle it on, and they like blow on it, so like they don't want to kill him and burn him, but they're like, okay, cool it down a little bit, put some feathers on there, and do little bits at a time.
That's a lot more of a long-term punishment.
Look,
as opposed to all at once.
listen, you asked me about. You asked me about the waxing. It was a long-term, grueling process,
Yes,
more
it
than
was.
anything, and that's what I imagine tar and feathering would have to be like.
We haven't mentioned we are covering Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck. Speaking of feathering,
Feathers. It's all coming back to me. And put it on my crazy board, tying everything together.
yeah.
That's why-
I'll take that ball and I'll dunk it through the basket.
So we have modern day Luthor now. He's got a box. Who his assistant, Miss Tessmacher? Is that her name? I've never seen.
I don't know if this is ever gonna come into play, but I'm just gonna throw this out because I haven't read the book. She's got the same wig that Superman wears when he shows off his good wigs. So I don't know, is she wearing a wig or not? It's the same. It's the same hair color.
It does look like it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Lois. Okay.
Oh shit!
I suspect Lois's sister, who famously hated Jimmy Olsen.
Oh, I was just kind of throwing this out there, but I think Chris might actually be on something.
that sounds accurate. But
I may have just saw the whole. We haven't finished the story. That maybe who's behind it all.
But anyways, it's like a time capsule that she's delivering to Luthor, and inside there's like a glass trophy that he breaks, and he cuts his hand. And there's also
no, he uses the glass trophy to open it.
To open up the box. Okay. That's right. This is a trophy.
Oh, it was his own trophy, and it was just bullshit, nothing. So he brought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just got something from the Orphans of Metropolis or whatever. He's like, whatever, I'll just use this to open this lock.
That's fair. And he cuts his hand, which is kind of dumb of him, but whatever. And inside the box, there's a gun, an eyeglass, and like a photo of a family. All right. I don't know.
That one's gonna come up playing later when that comes up.
Yeah. So we go back to the turtle scene, and we get the internal monologue of the other astronaut, Bob, who was. It's his monologue about how he's being forced to inject Jimmy Olsen with this turtle business, or else, in large caps, mysterious villains will kill my entire family, which I thought was really funny. It's actually kind of rare that we get like a specific reference to the dudes in the shadows being dudes in the shadows. Of like, I don't know who this is, but they're dudes in the shadows, and he's on the phone with them later, and they're like, okay, I can guarantee that your family's safe now. Like, okay, thanks, dude in the shadow.
Later, and, 1 page later.
And he's driving home, and his brakes are cut, and he goes off the edge of a turn. Poor Bob, dead. And then I do
think there's a little sad thing that he says, "Superman, save me!" as he's falling.
Oh yeah.
I guess like if I lived in Metropolis and something like Superman existed, would that not be one of your first thoughts? Like, I hope Superman comes right now.
Yeah, right? I'd pray to Superman before God for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
more like.
I mean, you know, I've been stuck in an elevator for like 20 minutes before. I'd be like, Superman, come on!
Yeah.
Oh, hot.
Can we get some help over here, Superman? Come on.
It's gonna be a tough life for Superman.
Yeah, that guy's never just. When did he get a day off? Anyways, the porkadillo shows up. It's a porcupine combined with an armadillo, and he kills his lawyer.
Okay, Chris, you okay? Does this scare you? Content warning for lawyers here.
Content warning for lawyers.
I was very upset by this.
And then another new character, Dr. Mantell, is on a mission doing some like super microscopic business or something with Jimmy Olsen, and Dr. Mantell gets sucked into a black hole. Oh man.
Again, this is Clark Kent sociopath, where he's like, I guess you could say Dr. Mantel's premise for black holes really sucked.
And Jimmy's sitting there like fucking going mad, like, holy shit, this dude got sucked into a black hole. What the fuck? And then we go. So we still don't have a perfect time frame here, but Jimmy now goes to his home or somewhere, and he gets a decoy because everybody is targeting him. And he gets out this decoy. Who's the guy with him? Rex? What's that guy?
Metamorpho, right?
Is it Deadman?
No, it's Metamorpho.
I think Deadman might be in this book later. But
who's
Metamorpho.
Deadman, then? I thought this guy was Deadman the whole time.
Nah, I mean, it's not important. He doesn't really come back. Maybe he'll come back in.
Deadman famously for turning into turtles.
Deadman also is like got like a fully like white head and like kind of blacked out. Okay. All right. So
Yeah,
I'm
but
not-
the purple and
different
orange.
costume.
Metamorph.
Different costume though. Okay.
Yeah. Metamorpho has the purple and orange, I guess. I don't
Dead
really know
Man
what
has the
what his
red
deal is.
costume. Okay.
Mhm, mhm.
All right,
But
there we go.
Jimmy's like, hey, we gotta get my artificial decoy body because everyone's targeting me. And as soon as they get it out, it then gets shot by snipers. It's like, oh shit! So you gotta go fake your own death, dude. You gotta run. You gotta get out of Metropolis. So later we see Jimmy visiting his own grave, and he helped cover it with dirt. A really nice scene with the gravedigger here, I thought.
Yeah, this was genuinely very funny.
Yeah. Where it's just getting to know this guy and like, hey, you mind if I like help out a little bit? And I don't even remember what like specifically was so funny about it, but it's a really good scene.
Yeah, I mean, I love the scene. So he's just like, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen is dead, and then he puts his cap down, and then he says, "Long live irresponsible blogger Timmy Olsen."
Yeah,
Who might have a mustache? I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, it's very silly.
It's very.
And then he walks away from the grave, and the gravedigger's like, "That's my shovel. What are you doing?"
Hey, you said you were gonna help me. You just you did one scoop. He does also throw.
That's such a great.
He does throw his Superman signal watch down into the grave as well, and like he tells Superman there, like Superman can hear him talking that he's like reborn as the irresponsible blogger Jimmy Olsen, and he says Superman did just like accept that Jimmy Olsen's dead for a little while, and Superman's like he takes that to heart.
Right, and then we skipped over the end of issue 2, like cliffhanger was Lois Lane getting a mystery phone call from Jimmy.
I mentioned that it was Lois Lane. Well, I guess I didn't say that it was getting a phone call from Jimmy, but yeah, Lois goes to visit him, and we see his crazy board for the first time, and he thinks that Lex Luthor is trying to kill him. Yeah. So issue number 4 here now.
Also, she's like, how do you think how hard it would be to like pin this all on Lex Luthor and take him down? And then it goes, pretty hard, Jimmy. And then the narration goes, yeah, very hard. Superman's been trying for like 80 years almost. Duh.
Yeah.
It's very cute. The book is very cute.
Yes.
Yeah. I have to take the book to task for that. Lex Luthor was not around when Superman was first created. That's not true.
Whoa. All right. This book just got old. This book got old snapped.
Fraction.
Book got old snapped. Jimmy Olsen has his series where he's like, you got old snapped. And he does really silly stuff. And he's a big time jerk about it, too. Is that Captain Fate, whose helmet he fills with bees?
Yeah.
Dr. Fate. Yes.
Dr. Fate.
He went to middle school, Kia. He's got a PhD.
Okay, sorry.
Not Captain Fate. Come on.
I don't know. He does these like fucking Letterman bits where he's like, how many Jokers can we get at the Cookie Pagoda to try and get Batman's attention? And it's just filling this place with Jokers. I love it.
It feels very much like my son's YouTube prank videos that he watches. Like we're gonna pull a Minecraft prank now. And I'm like, I mean, this one's obviously more mean spirited than like what he watches, but it's definitely like I can see the appeal. Okay, fine. Like this is kind of like Jackass, but with like just a blogger or YouTube channel that's got like too much money. You got all snapped, but I like also that he doesn't have a disguise. He's faked his. This is in the Timmy Olsen era, right? Or is this still Jimmy? Or is he Jimmy?
This is Timmy. Yeah.
This is Timmy. Okay, this is Timmy Olsen. Okay.
Yeah, Timmy Olsen's the asshole.
That's right, because he's irresponsible blogger Timmy Olsen. That's right.
Yes. So back in the past, though, Jimmy Olsen gets arrested for murder. Oh my god! Or what? By like a random Detective Diamond. And Superman's busy, can't come help, so he goes and sits in jail. And then while he's sitting in jail, Miss Tessemacher comes and kills the dirty detective. Oh my god! So now this detective's dead. We get some more clips of Timmy Olsen. Yo, it's the Phantom Swinger. I love this character. I don't know anything about the Phantom Swinger, but I'm on board. And then we have
Batmobile, wheel.
The reporter. The Batmobile has, I repeat, lost its wheel. Which is pretty funny. And then Jimmy and Lois are like talking about this like personality crisis of the evilness of Timmy Olsen. It's like, this guy's so fucking evil. I don't know. and we then get a recap of the history of the Olsens and the Luthors and the old timey stuff, and it's a really cool panel where Jimmy's like, swinging from his crazy board's
His
little.
crazy board is, I don't know if we described it. It's one of those boards with the,
right.
with all the red lines and the yarn pointing at the pictures. Yeah. There's a lot of Always
Sunny. Back to Luthor.
Yeah.
Yep.
We haven't mentioned somehow this whole time. In the first issue, Lex Luthor calls the mayor a dinosaur, and we find out the mayor is a dinosaur, a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
There was a part where Clark Kent talked. Yeah, I missed that too because Clark Kent made a joke about how he passes all these laws with his tiny arms. I didn't get the joke, but
yeah. So it's in the first issue, Lex Luthor calls the mayor a dinosaur, and then through the whole book, the mayor is the Tyrannosaurus Rex, including like in these flashbacks where Jimmy's like, my brother doesn't understand why anyone wouldn't preserve his legacy, and it's like a flashback to the mayor and Luthor like cutting ground or whatever, breaking ground.
Wow.
And the mayor is a Tyrannosaurus Rex in a little hat.
I missed all of this. I missed all 100% of this.
There's a little ground breaking with the little shovel. Oh my gosh.
So then,
but I do want to go back though. Like also that's ridiculous. Yeah. The newspaper premature adjumulation, which one I don't really get the joke. I don't know why he prematurely broke that. But he did.
Right. It's because they were trying to destroy the lion statue. So instead of a Jack, which is the normal word, they say a Jimmy.
Yeah,
I do love though the newspaper article just like loses the plot halfway through the headline if you actually read it. It was like Jimmy Olsen transformed himself into a massive turtle-like thing and fell from the stratosphere in an apparent publicity stunt gone wrong for his charity, Jimmy's Pals. I'm an adult-ass person, a grown human being, and this is a sentence I typed. This is apparently my job. Feels like a fever dream. How do any go from here? Especially when things turn into boy photographer turns into turtle and falls from the sky, happening with stunning regularity. I say I'm in the grips of it, and then it cuts off. But
it's great. Yeah, it's great. It's a lot of fun gags throughout all this.
That's great.
So this
is also the issue. So Lois is like, you haven't told anyone else about this, right? Your crazy board. He's like, flashbacks to him telling Lex Luthor.
Yeah, he goes onto a plane and he like but he like confronts Lex Luthor. He's like, you're trying to have me killed. Like, no, no, I'm not. And you're probably gonna get arrested when we land. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm jumping out. Bye. And that's kind of it.
He goes like, Luthor, I think you have helicopter lessons, right? You can pilot this thing, right?
Yep.
So he starts
I'm out.
And he's like, you'll kill us both. And he's like, I'm already dead. And then jumps out.
Yeah.
Pretty badass.
All right. I don't have anything else to write about issue number 4. Issue number 5 is the one that completely won me over and had me laughing out loud. I love this issue so much.
The Olsen Batman prank war?
Yes. I mean, it's not even. I don't feel like the prank war is even like it. It's just the way this book treats Batman. I love it. Bruce Wayne.
That's reminding me of Harley Quinn. Honestly.
You should really. Yeah. Have you watched Harley Quinn? They shit on Batman so well and so beautifully. They make him basically out to be like an Elon Musk type. It's really, really fun. And they got one of the old Batman actors to actually play him, Diedrich Bader, who played him like on Batman Brave and the Bold.
Who's also a comedy actor, so it makes sense.
Yeah, that's good. That's
real good. Everything they do with Batman and Harley Quinn is fantastic. I think you'd like it.
Maybe I'll check it out. So Bruce Wayne is on a date with Glimini, is her name. She's like she's some fucking blogger, whatever.
She's some influencer. She's also like 22, and like Batman's got to be what 35 at this point.
Yeah, and she's like, "Look, I'm just here for the publicity of the whole thing. Let's not pretend we're interested in each other."
Yeah.
And
there's apparently a long-running thing that Batman was 29, and I'm like, why? Like, who thought Batman was 29 years old?
Did I just make Batman my age? By the way, yes, because I can't be.
Batman's always.
I can't be older than Batman. Yeah. I still can't do that.
I mean, I always, even as a child, I always thought Batman was in his 30s.
Yeah.
When I was a child, I thought Batman was a child. Batman's always my age.
Yeah.
So this is an old
sense.
So this is like an old.
Kia was like reading like Dark Knight Returns, and he's like, "Yep,
yeah,
my age.
This kid's got to be 8." and maybe 9. You know, he's a little older than me.
Mature for his age.
So Bruce Wayne, so Batman goes to meet Superman about the toy war, and Jimmy Olsen has been covering it. This is Jimmy Olsen's first time meeting Batman, so I guess this is like way in the past. And Batman is a fucking asshole. He's like, "Who is this kid?" And he's like saying his typical emo shit that he's usually talking about. And he's like, "This is a war, and the only people in a war are soldiers or my enemies, and you don't look like a damn soldier." And he slaps the camera out of his hand and it goes away. And Superman's just like, sorry, he's pretty messed up, I guess.
I like how Jimmy's about to say, "What an asshole," and then Superman like word balloon goes over it. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's
and
then
I'm saying, "What an asshole."
It's so good. And then Timmy Olsen is interviewing the guy who made the giant coin and the giant paperclip and the giant penny and the giant thimble. And they're like trying to get his attention because he lost his business or something. There's a great quote here. Batman doesn't care about one lowly manufacturer of bespoke novelty items of outrageous proportion like me. Not when there are so many of us in Gotham. Which I think that's why Gotham has a shit economy. It's like filled with people making giant novelty items. Whatever.
I love it. He's giving this like heart to heart where he's like saying that he's calendar man wanted a giant like daily calendar. And he's like, I refused. He beat me, murdered my family, burned my house down, which as I work from home was really quite a twofer. And Jimmy looks at the camera and says, "Dang." And it says, "Man. You got calendar mangled."
Calendar mangle. That was a damn good burn. And then, so they're trying to attract Batman's attention. So they do another stunt where they send as many Jokers as they can into a froyo shop to attract Batman.
Hey ho, froyo is what it's called.
And Batman shows up and like punches out Jimmy and leaves a memo on there. It's like it just says tonight -B. And Jimmy's like, "Oh, Bruce Wayne's gonna meet with me." And the guy's like, "No, I think it was Batman." He's like, "Well, it could be Bruce." I was like, "No, dude, look at the letterhead. It's Batman."
Was there an earlier scene where he told everybody that Batman was Bruce Wayne?
He told the
ran
TikTok
screaming,
influencer that he's Batman.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Bruce Wayne told his influencer that he's Batman, but as a joke. And earlier, Timmy was yelling, screaming, "Bruce Wayne's Batman!"
Just as a goof.
Just as a goof. Like, "Hey, are you Batman?" My favorite scene, maybe that I've ever read in a comic book, is Bruce Wayne is now sitting in the bathroom at Wayne Enterprises, and he overhears 2 of his employees talking about how Alfred pays them to laugh at his jokes, to laugh at Bruce Wayne's jokes. And later in the Batcave, he's like, "Alfred, how much have you spent on paying people to laugh at my jokes?" And Alfred says, $85,400. How did you know? And he says, "Because I'm an amazing detective, Alfred. Amazing. Ask anyone."
Yeah, this is definitely Harley Quinn.
It's so good. God, I love this scene. And then he says "Boosie Hungy," and he says, "I'm also hilarious," and he puts the little ear thing. That's the panel of the week, is Bruce Wayne sitting there with the arrow shit over his head. Oh my god.
It's really good. And it's really using that Gotham Central style art to maximum effect.
Yeah. We go to Jimmy Olsen's funeral after it's been buried, and the watch is down there, and the gravesite explodes. Superman catches his watch, and everyone's like, "What the fuck? There's body parts flying?" After
Metamorpho admits that he's going to he owed me $100, but he had a very nice TV.
And someone's like, "Did that guy just admit he's gonna hawk the TV?" And the doctor who disappeared in the black hole, Dr. Mantell, has reemerged, and he was able to focus in on the Superman watch in order to reappear. But he sees the grave of Jimmy Olsen. He says, "No, what have I done?" But don't worry, it was a fake body. Dr. Mantell, you're okay.
Yeah.
Now,
I do like the end too, where Jimmy Olsen's brother's just sitting there, completely stone faced, and it's like Jimmy Olsen is still alive. Like no reaction at all.
Mm. Oh yeah, everybody finds out that he's still alive. I guess. Does everybody know? I guess everybody knows now. But now we go back to the 1800s, and it's like a cotillion thing, and there's like a Romeo and Juliet situation happening with an Olsen boy and a Luthor girl, Jimington Olsen, and Hannah Alexandria Luthor. Okay, and the Luthor family like shoots him in the leg, so Jimberly gets married to somebody else and has eight kids, and Hannah marries the Hamblejam family and has 3 kids. But there's an extra kid in the photo. Who's this? So that's something. I don't know. We see. Okay, Jimmy Olsen has a gothy sister named Jennifer LaCroix Olsen, whose new play is opening called "I Hate You, Dad" in lowercase. A one-act play. Very nice. Jimmy goes to see her, and kind of reveals that it's him. All that. Accidentally stands up Batman in the meantime and goes home. And there's a present. And the present is a cat that vomits blood and shoots it. What is this? What is this cat blood? What is this blood cat?
I don't know where that came from. I don't read Batman Monthly, so maybe that's a Batman reference.
I don't know at all. But then
this was it was in every single Batman movie.
The blood cat? I don't know anything about this damn blood cat.
The blood cat is Batman's #1 villain after the Joker.
What?
Yeah,
so it's a present.
I don't know.
But it's meant to be it's like a prank that now Batman has left this blood cat for Jimmy that vomits blood everywhere. And he's like, all right, game on, Batman. Because this is the prank war, I guess. I don't know about
so so in this world, is Batman just like a bad prank escalator?
I think so.
He doesn't understand a good prank?
That sounds right to me. Yeah, that sounds right to me.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
What's not to love?
Look, his parents are dead. He doesn't know.
He doesn't know. Poor guy.
You went too hard, Bruce. Too hard. Yeah. Back off.
Nobody taught him comedy. So we go to issue 6. Jimmy Olsen's in jail still. Prisoner number 24601B. Cute. Jimmy gets out of jail because Luthor dropped the charges. Just wanted him in jail for a night, I guess. Kind of weird. And then we go to another scene. I love the captions here because it's just look, man, I don't know what the fuck is going on either. Well, let's just jump in. Maybe we'll pick it up from context. Because Jix, the interdimensional jewel thief, who was last seen in Superman Leviathan Rising, is trying to get married to some alien. But the robot who's performing the ceremony can't make it happen because it detects that she's already married to Jimmy Olsen. And the alien cries and says, how could you, after I enslaved your entire civilization and made you marry me? And so she throws a smoke bomb and escapes and says, oh, damn it, Jimmy Olsen, I gotta go after you now. Cute scene. I like that robot. We get the assassin who killed Jimmy Olsen, or thinks he did. He's up on the roof and he's he shoots the bullets through the window. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna go have a nice day afterwards. I feel really nice. He appreciates some art. He decides he's gonna reconnect with his wife. And then he gets in a cab and he's trapped by Lex Luthor. And he's asking him hey, who paid you to kill Jimmy? I didn't approve this, not in my land. And the guy takes a cyanide capsule. And we don't find out. Too bad. We have Detective James Corrigan now. Is this the guy who was the Spectre for a little while? Is that where I'm remembering this name?
I'm confused.
They make the joke about it. It's not.
It's not.
No, because in Gotham Central, wasn't it that's Crispus Allen was the Spectre.
I'm
right?
looking this guy up. James Corrigan.
James Corrigan was the coroner, the dirty cop guy that worked in the coroner's office.
He was I think he was white with red hair, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, he was like a dirty cop because Crispus Allen was the guy that was Renee Montoya's partner that became the Spectre.
Yes, but neither of them are this guy. They even mentioned they're like, "Is this the guy that became the Spectre?" And they're like, "No, this is a different guy."
This is a different one.
Which
Okay,
is
well,
a nice little wink and a nod to Gotham Central,
Sure.
series that we've read. I don't know
Right.
if regular people have read.
And I'm sure it's out of
19
continuity
years ago.
3 or 4 times over now at this point between New 52
Uh-huh.
and Rebirth. And this is, I'm assuming, out of continuity, but maybe not. Because I just looked up Superman Leviathan Rising, which was like a Bendis written book that like teed off, that had segments like with a big spectacular that teed off segments for Jimmy Olsen, and it also teed off the Greg Rucka Lois Lane book that was coming on around the same time. So,
Sure. Who could forget?
Who could forget? So this detective is trying to figure out who killed the other detective, Detective Diamond, and we know it was Miss Tessemacher who killed him with some gas, but he's this detective. This other detective's like, it's kind of weird. This guy arrests Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen sits in prison for a night while this guy gets killed, and then Jimmy Olsen gets let out of prison, and then Jimmy Olsen gets shot. Like he just finds this out, and he's like, oh my god, now what? And I guess they mentioned that somebody like followed him out of jail. That was his theory. Lex Luthor had him put in jail so that somebody could follow him out of jail. But really, it sounds like maybe Lex Luthor was protecting him by putting him in jail. Who knows? Back in the future, when he's at his shitty little motel with his sister, he gets attacked by a bunch of people. Oh no! And Batman shows up and helps. And he's like, "Listen, I don't know who's coming after you. So this is bigger than me. I can't help you in Gotham. I'm gonna put you in a car. I'm gonna send you away. Also, I've changed your name to Jimphony because it's funny." So,
Yes.
great.
And Jimmy Olsen is like, obviously, the person behind this is either Lex Luthor or you.
Yeah. Jimmy doesn't know. Jimmy doesn't know. So yeah, that's the end of the 6th issue. Now we have to decide: are we continuing on with the read? Chris, I'm gonna throw it to you first.
I mean, we got to solve this mystery, guys. Who's the ghost in the old mill?
The ghost in the myth? Did I miss that?
Who's
so you think
who's
gotta solve
behind
this.
all of this?
Who's
What's
behind all
going
this?
on?
What's going on? Vince, what do you think?
I do want to know who's going on with this, but I also like. I mean, if we stopped here, I would not feel like it was the end of the world. I'm like, okay. I like it. I'm kind of like still kind of very lost. There's a lot of people dead that I'm like losing track of because I don't know what time and what things are, and it's making a little more
Not
sense.
that complicated, Vince.
It's very complicated.
Some of
y'all, the Eisner Awards appeal to the hoity-toity, but us regular folks on the ground, we can't read this highfalutin liberal stuff like Jimmy Olsen.
Well, maybe after a 2-week break where you've forgotten all the characters, it'll make it easier to pick it back up.
Yeah,
No,
we're gonna be like, Jimmy Olsen has a brother and a sister. What?
Yeah, I had no idea. I do think that Jimmy Olsen's sister was drawn to look kind of like Elizabeth Olsen a little bit. Did y'all?
Lizzie Olsen.
Yeah,
I know her.
Yeah.
I can see that a little bit, but she's also drawn as like very like ginger, like she's got freckles and everything. So
That's true. But yeah, I want to keep reading it. I don't really want to. I don't care about the mystery. I just think there's going to be more opportunities for fun, silly stuff, and I'm all about the silly. I just want to see some of the more silly bits.
yeah,
I
think
don't
it's
even care if we
genuinely
don't find
funny.
out.
Yeah,
Like,
I
we-
think it's
yeah.
picked up in the back half of these 3 issues. I think I was kind of like I had to get my bearings straight on the first 2 issues.
Yeah, we've done a few different comedy series with middling results, but like I felt like this
It's a good
was genuinely pretty funny.
Yep.
And I will say, we don't point out like lettering at all, really, when we talk about this
Yeah.
stuff. The lettering for like comedy effect is really good in this book.
Mhm.
Like,
Especially
they'll have,
Batman's
like-
dialogue. Oh my god.
they'll have like all caps or like a different font for like Jimothy Olsen or Timothy or whatever, like who may have a mustache. Like they'll have this like very extravagant, like huge font for that, and it cracked me up every time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
it's
book
very
does
fun.
it's a great mixture of words, image, and lettering for maximum effect, like word balloon placement, font, like
Vince, you literally defined a comic book.
No, but I mean, it's not just like fucking around. Like it's not just like getting. It's not very just like purpose built. Like I feel like when we talked about like Steve Ditko, like it's very like just like get to the point, like just set up the shot and get it done. Whereas like this book takes the time, and I think that like that gag that literally made me laugh out loud when he was like, "Goodbye, Jimmy Olsen," and then there's a silent frame where he dips his head, and then he pops his head out and he was like, "Say hello to," and then like massive text break for the image, and then below it, irresponsible blogger Timmy Olsen, real big but in the same font as Jimmy Olsen, who may not have a mustache, like written real small. Like so, there's like multiple gags. It like had that silent thing for the pause, which I think is still really difficult to pull off in like comic art. That like when do you show action in between, like. That's a frame that you don't necessarily need to show, but it definitely like lands better if you do.
Yeah. It creates the timing of it, of having an image of like a still panel of like, oh, this like quiet reflection of his death, and then he reacts so stupidly. Like it, we talked about the worst comic book or the worst, well, maybe the worst comic book, the worst comedy book we've done, not Brand X, is just like joke, and it just doesn't work. Like that's not how even Mad Magazine, like it's not just joke. Like you have to understand what you're referencing before you can riff off of it.
Well, and it's also not just like all, and like Not Brand X was a lot of like side riffs, whereas this like it's coming from the character. Like Jimmy would do something stupid like this, but then it's also like it's cute on a lot of levels, and it works. When it really works, it really works.
Right. Yeah. And I like all the way. It's just a slightly skewed version of like Lois and Clark and everyone, and their new adventures, of course. But Clark like winking to no one, and then Clark saying like, "I guess that professor's plan really sucked." When Jimmy's like traumatized by a man's death. Like that cracked me up so much. Where I was just like, "What?" Like Clark knows because he's a god living on Earth that he's fine.
But yeah, I think overall the layouts I think is kind of what we're talking about, like with just the way that everything's laid out. You're right, Vince. I kind of noticed that as I was going through it. It's like it's just a very well put together book, even if the one big thing of the time jumping around I wasn't super into and Vince hated and Chris said, "Get over it, y'all." And I'm over it. I'm fine with it. Vince will get over it.
Figure it out pretty quickly. Like it's not that complicated.
It's not too bad. Vince is going to be okay for 7 through 12. You can ask us for help if you need it, Vince. We are going to continue on though to Scrooge, unless anyone has anything else. No final thoughts for Jimmy Olsen. We're going to keep going for the next episode. So for right now, Scrooge McDuck, Chapter 3. The Buckaroo of the Badlands. Young Scrooge is on a train out west, and he meets an old guy who has $1 million idea. You ready for it? Square eggs.
Oh man, I hope he doesn't get lost in the Andes like in our episode. Flips through pages.
I was gonna say this sounds familiar, and I was like, have we read this thing with square eggs before?
Scrooge wasn't in it. It was just a Donald Duck book with the nephews. Scrooge is not in it.
But that's what they're referencing very clearly.
Yes. And they're apparently legitimate. But anyways, the James gang shows up and robs the train. Scrooge is smart. This is the second issue in a row where right on the fly, he comes up with an idea. It's like, hey, don't take my heirlooms or my hidden jewels. And they're like, where are your hidden jewels at? And like, oh, you got to press the button on these teeth, and like slams their hands down. It's nice, but
my gun shooting fingers.
That's right. Their gun shooting fingers are all crooked. One guy had a bowling tournament that night. So sad. Then in all the ruckus, Scrooge falls off the train and he runs into some cowboys, and there's another Scottish guy who like owns the whole caravan or whatever, and so they take him on, and he writes a letter back home to his family telling them all about his life as a cowboy and how he named his horse after his sister Hortense. She doesn't like that. And there's a couple of assholes who are like on their little crew of cowboys there, and they are looking at this prize bull named Vindicator that they've gotten. They're like, we want to take this fucking prize bull for ourselves. This thing's worth a lot. So one night, Scrooge is on lookout, and they knock him out, and they take the bull. Oh my God, terrible. the Scottish dude who owns the place wakes up and he's like, "Hey," Scrooge says, "I'm gonna go after them," and he heads east toward the Badlands. And he meets like a rich cowboy who used to be in politics or something, and then they meet some Native American.
Do you not know who this is? Come on.
I do know. Look, it says I'm trying not to spoil it. Okay. Spoiler alert: this rich cowboy is somebody important. But in the meantime, he's just giving.
Is it Teddy Roosevelt?
Yeah. Spoiler alert! Oh my god.
Teddy Roosevelt if he were a dog. He's got a little black nose.
Dog Teddy Roosevelt.
He's got little glasses. Yeah. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm rich, but I like being a cowboy, so I can know what the poor people live like."
At the time, he's not a vice president or president.
So he hasn't been president yet.
This is 1882.
Okay, so because he's president like 10 years later. So are we? And he hasn't founded. Okay, and he hasn't founded the national park system either yet. No. So are we to believe that it's? I wish I had the annotated version. Y'all maybe do. Is there a book where Scrooge McDuck says, "And then I helped Teddy Roosevelt become president"? Is that like in here somewhere, or
it's possible?
And I was
that
James game.
Not in this.
Jesse James got me. Took all my money.
I'll keep my.
Don't that picture look dusty?
I was named Buck McDuck, and I helped Teddy Roosevelt.
So they get to. I've got the things here. I'll try and see what I can find. But they get to like this gulch, and they don't know which way the bandits have gone. And Teddy Roosevelt says, "Oh, just ask those Native American trackers over there." And they're like, "Oh, y'all can't smell him. He went over this way to the left. Tell the guy with bacon grease in his hair to wash his feet." I thought that was funny. And so they find them. There's a bunch of shenanigans with a lasso and a bear and a bunch of running bison and an old dino skull and all this kind of stuff. Very, very running around, kind of crazy. We kind of lost track of what was going on. But Vindicator, the bull, is safe at the end. Scrooge is made the manager of a ranch in Montana. I don't think does he accept it, or does it seem like he's like, "Nah, I'm out of here. I'm gonna do some other
stuff."
Only
for a few years. He's only gonna do it for a few years.
Okay.
Because we're still in 1882, 1884, 1882.
Yeah.
Next issue is 1884. Okay.
And then it turns out that the rich cowboy still has a pretty good ability to talk and inspire people. And Scrooge says, "Hey, maybe you should go back into politics." And he says, "Bully, I think I will." And then, and that was like, oh, that's when I was like, okay, I see. And then another guy called him TR, and I was like, oh, okay, I know. And that was it. This one felt a lot less eventful than the other two, but still enjoyable. Just kind of like it didn't feel as special as the other two, I guess.
It's just a straightforward story, which is more of a cowboy adventure, which you know what, I'm for. But the last issue was also twice as long as all the rest of the
That's also, yes.
Yeah.
I thought the square egg would be more of a thing.
Yeah.
That's an Easter egg.
Yeah, because we covered that for Lost in the Andes, which I think is considered like the best duck comic.
Yeah. And I read the annotated version, so they do mention Vindicator, the bull. It's so silly. It's from The Rare Breed, a 1966 Jimmy Stewart movie, where he's a cowboy. So there you go. That's
Vindicator. Oh. That's my Jimmy Stewart impression was uncanny, wasn't it?
Oh, Vindicator! What are you doing?
Yeah, it does also say that some of the dialogue in the book is quoted and paraphrased from Teddy Roosevelt's books and speeches. Yes. So that's, I guess, nice, but nothing in terms of old Scrooge comics with Roosevelt.
Yes, no, I don't think TR was in Scrooge comics, but it's interesting because even in the book they're like, Roosevelt is from money. But he's just like, oh, but I like doing all these adventures. Meanwhile, Scrooge is like, what? Why would you do this? So it's a very different. He refuses to shoot a gun at a bear because bullets are too expensive.
Yeah.
He's a little
cheapskate.
A really video game RPG mindset of like, I gotta save this.
Yeah, when those guys were when the James gang was trying to steal his money and everything, he had a dime like attached to his body. Was it like on a string or something like that? Right?
Right.
Yeah, like his first dime.
It's
like
his number one dime. Yeah.
Yeah, number one dime. So yeah, next time we are gonna go on to number 4. We're gonna continue the story of Scrooge, and we're gonna continue the story of Jimmy Olsen as well. Don't recommend next week's episode to anybody as the first episode they listen to. It'd probably be a bad one, because nobody's gonna know anything about what's going on.
I was gonna create a whole new character that everyone was gonna love.
And you're gonna debut it next episode.
Yes.
While we do part 2 of Jimmy Olsen and part 4 of Scrooge McDuck. Cool.
That's right.
Sounds good. Well, I think that was usually it takes a lot longer to say what we're gonna do next time, but it's more of this. So yeah, what else is going on? How is your Stupid Minds doing anything?
Your Stupid Minds. We did Cradle of the Grave last month, and we mentioned in the episode we thought we were doing a Steven Seagal movie. We are doing a Steven Seagal movie this month for September. It's DMX Steven Seagal Exit Wounds, the movie that we thought we were doing a month ago. We're covering it now. Steven Seagal lost weight, cut his ponytail to be in this movie.
Whoa, that's like when Sam Elliott shaves his mustache. You know it's gonna be good.
Can I tell? I'm surprised at how many movies DMX was in. Dude was in a lot of movies.
Yeah, and well, he's like, it's so funny to say, but like he's the real actor of the two of them.
Wow, amazing. Vince, what's going on with you?
So That Was a Game had a new episode last month, Super Luigi Brothers. I'm still working on the next episode, so that's not out yet. I also have guested on a couple episodes of Games My Mom Found. I don't think either of them have posted yet, but I've been on a Soul Blazer episode, Super Nintendo, and Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. So for the
you told us about. I think you told us about Soul Blazer last time. The Minish Cap. I don't remember you telling us about.
I just recorded that the same day we recorded this to blow up Mike's spot of like how long his delay is. I think he's a little ahead of his recording schedule, and I don't know if Chris's episode of where they covered Sandman has aired yet. I don't think.
Yeah, I was gonna say hopefully that'll come out soon. Mm-hmm. Soul Blazer, of course, the prequel to Soul Calibur, right?
No, Soul Blazer. No, that. What was that name? Soul Blade? Was that what Soul Calibur turned into?
Yeah, I think it was Soul Blade.
Okay. Yeah, Soul Blazer's completely different. Probably Soul Blader, if we're being totally honest, but Japanese kind of, the D and the Z kind of get mixed up sometimes. So I think it might be Soul Blader, but that's a different game. But you can check that out on Games My Mom Found in the episode 140s-ish range. Should be coming out soon. Those are good things. And Mike, the host of that, was on our Super Metroid episode a few episodes ago. So if you like him, you like his vibe, go check out Games My Mom Found.
On this show?
Yeah, Super Metroid comic.
Yeah, Super Metroid.
Oh yeah. I'm joking. I remember. Okay.
we let him on here. Are you sure?
Kia's like, these square eggs look important. Yeah, Kia, we covered it. Did a whole comic about it.
It's late and my eyes hurt. Okay, it's time for me to go.
Those are hard things for podcasts. When your eyes hurt, it's hard to podcast.
I had to look at comics.
Superman made a joke too. This and Jimmy Olsen, right, about the opposite of a circular whatever. And he's like, what, a rounded square? I forget what the joke was.
I don't know. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Hey, I have a joke. Super Metroid's pal, Jimmy Chozo. That's a pretty good joke, I think.
Keep workshopping
this one. All right, I love you, Kia.
I love you too, Vince. I love you, Chris.
We're pals.
Yeah, we're pals. And audience, I love you too. Thanks so much for listening. We'll talk to you later. Bye.